And welcome to another episode of me modeling in Blender. And today, as you can see, we have got this BMW Z4 coupe, I guess this is. I guess it doesn't really need any further introduction, so let's just crack on. So what we're going to do, so I've already lined it up. The front wheel axle is in line, is in grid, so it's at Y0, which is this point here. We've got it on a layer called reference, a collection called reference rather, and we're going to just duplicate this collection. We're going to move this collection above it. We're just going to isolate the first collection. We're going to select an object, then select all. We're going to go to edit mode, make sure nothing is hidden. We're going to go to vertex mode. We're going to select a big chunk out of the middle. We're going to delete the middle there. We've still got some stuff in the middle there, so we're just going to select those. And we're going to delete those edges, and we're going to grab the back. We're going to separate that. We're just going to grab the back. We're going to put it into a new collection, call that RR, which of course stands for rear. We're going to move that collection up there. We're going to isolate that collection. We're just going to make the scalar empty, not selectable, so we're going to disable selection. That's it. Right, let's put the select all, tries to quads. Let's select that edge, cursor to selected. Let's move object origin to 3D cursor. Now let's select all. Let's parent everything to that object. Let's wait for it to do it. Do your stuff. Wait a little bit longer. For some reason this is taking a little, oh there we go, okay good. Now let's open up this collection. Let's move it over to there. You can see we've got a rotation here for some reason. Oh, that's the wheel. That is interesting. What are we doing? Okay, let's have a quick look. Let's isolate the front. Now what we're going to do, oops. Let's select everything but the wheel. And we don't need these bits here. I think those are just rogue objects from the rear. Let's just put them into the rear collection. Now let's select the offside wheel. There's a couple of bits there which I didn't select. Now let's select this wheel, which will be our main wheel. Put that into a new collection and call that FR wheel, which of course stands for front wheel. Let's move that up to there. Let's go back, isolate the front. Again, it didn't select a few objects there, so let's just grab those, move those into front wheel. Now if we select all, and we look over here, oops, there's a couple of bits here which you didn't select, so let's pick those, go to the front, put them into the front. Now if we select all and we look over here on the left into our statistics, we can see that we have 800 objects selected and majority of them, so we can put those into the rear. But yeah, majority of these are just rogue redundant empties, so we can just delete those, not empties, objects. Okay, there we go. and let's change this to object. Now we're going to select all again, go to edit mode, make sure nothing's hidden, select all, and then we're going to go to bisect. We're going to go straight down. Let's reset these to 0, let's reset that to 0, change that to 1, and then let's clear outer. Now let's do the same thing on the rear. Okay, so let's see how far forward we've moved that. 12, 10. So if we grab these, move them in Y by 12, 10. Oops, 12, 10. That is incorrect. Okay, well, let's just delete that and hope for the best. Alright, let's select all. Let's unparent all of that. Let's select that and those bits. Now let's delete that wheel. Let's move this wheel into a new collection and let's call that rear wheel. Let's move that one just below the front wheel. Let's isolate the rear again. Let's select all. So we've got a few little rogue bits which you didn't pick up, so let's select those, put those into rear wheel. Now again, let's select all, and we've got 415 objects which we can just delete. We can bring the back in, select an object, select all, go to edit mode, make sure nothing's hidden, go to x-ray mode, select all, go to bisect, let's go straight down, reset these to 0, and these, and then change this one back to 1, and then let's clear inner this time. Let's have a look, and then let's compare the front to the rear. As we can see, the rear is wider than the front. So what we're going to do is just going to put the cursor to world origin, then we're going to change the pivot to 3D cursor, then we're going to double click on this to make the front, to select the front, and we're going to zoom in and we're going to scale in X. And now before doing anything, we're just going to see how that's changed the appearance of it. So we're going to go undo, redo, just to see if stretching it out has changed the proportions so much that it doesn't look right. But I don't think it has compromised the look, so we're going to stick with it. Things like circles is something to look out for. So this is obviously no longer a circle, but I think it's negligible unless someone's really looking for it, in which case you might have to, what we would have to do in that case is, if we undo that, is we could just grab the badge on the front, select all of these bits, separate them from the front, and we can move those to the rear, or we can just hide it actually for now. Hide that bit, and hide that and that, and then we can double click on the front again and then scale in X, scale back a little bit like that, and we can bring the badge back in. So we've scaled everything but the badge, so the badge remains a circle. That's it, yeah, in case anyone has issues with the circle losing its circularity. Alright, let's grab that and let's change that to wire so that we can see underneath the car like this. Let's disable selection on that, and let's begin by doing the fenders. So let's select this bit and the offside fender as well, and those bits there, so select those, and these bits, which unfortunately are all individual pieces, so we might have to do a few selects, and the same thing over on here for consistency. So we're just going to select those, like so's. There we go, and let's grab that one, and then we're going to just separate those pieces. Then we're going to select them again, and we're going to delete the offside one that we're not working with, and we're going to add a mirror modifier to this one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to separate that piece because it needn't be a part of that selection. And what we're going to have over on the offside, this will still have the mirror modifier on it, which we can delete. Let's go to the back, select the back fender as well, or the back half of the back fender. Okay, and then let's select these bits here, and let's go all the way around to the split line. Select this one, select these bits here, and I think that's your lot, so that's good. So now we can move over to the offside and do the same thing here. Select these bits and these bits and these bits and these bits all the way up here and all the way to the front, and we can separate these bits as well as we did with the front, and we can isolate those, delete the offside. Then we can, just before we do anything, let's select just the main bit, and let's go to tries to quads, and then let's see about adjusting the parameters on here to see if we can improve the tries to quads, which I think we have. We'll have to do this bit here manually unless we can do it by adjusting these. So I'm just sliding that down, and I don't think I'm getting any improvements there. So it's 1.1. Sorry, that was 1.2 actually. 1.1, let's try 1.1. Nope, 1.2. So 1.2 keeps this one, so that's good. We'll go with that one. So that goes to 3 there. What we probably want to do is we want to go from there. Let's isolate that bit. So we probably want to go from there to there, there. Right, select all, merge by distance. So we want to go from there to there, that one to that one, and then that one to that one. So let's delete these. And so we've got a triangle there. What if we did that? How would we feel about this? Got a triangle there as well, which we don't really like. And we've got one there. Let's slide this one up a little bit. Let's go from there to there. And let's see if that's improved it. So we do have a triangle there, which, I mean, it doesn't really affect the surfaces, to be honest, but so actually let's move on. Let's do the same thing on the front. So isolate the main bits, which is that front bit without selecting the flanges. Let's isolate those, and let's go to tries to quads. That's good, okay. And then let's do a little fix on here. Let's delete these rogue bits, which were a cause of the by the bisect. So it's looking okay, and then let's just merge the front with the back, or join, not merge. So select those two, join, and then let's join these. Okay, so let's just get rid of these rogue triangulations, and then get rid of these triangles. Oops. Undo, undo, undo. Right, let's grab this, slide it over. Alright, so these are all separate pieces. Okay. Let's join, merge, auto merge on. And let's join that to there. That to there, that one to that one. So we've got vertices on top of vertices there, which was probably done for normal purposes. Normals. Oops. Okay, let's have a look. So these will have to be rebuilt manually. Let's move up here. Let's merge those together. Let's merge these. Let's get rid of that one. Oops, not that one. Let's get rid of that one and that one and that one and that one. Let's grab these and merge in the middle. And then what we're going to do here is we're just going to join these and then see how far off we are from the front to the back, or the back to the front. Let's grab those and merge those there. Okay, so not a million miles away. Okay, let's have a look. We've got so what we've got here is we've got a gap here between these here. So I think what we're going to just do is select all, merge by distance, and let's see about sliding some of these over. So let's get rid of those, get rid of, actually let's do another tries to quad, see if it fixes those, which it does. Very good. And I wonder if we get rid of these as well. Yes, I think that's a great idea. We can probably do the same with these. And slide these back up a touch. And then let's clear custom split normals. And then let's add a weighted normal to that. And then what we're going to do here is actually we can get rid of this edge loop. Slide those up like so, and potentially get rid of that one, slide these up a little bit too, and then move them up. So we're just looking at the wheel arch at the moment. So let's work with this edge here first. Edge here sounds like Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran here. Let's work with this Ed Sheeran. Let's isolate those. Let's move pivot to active element, and let's just work that edge first, that Ed Sheeran first. So what we're going to do is we're going to just distribute those evenly and distribute these evenly. Move that one up like so, and then we're going to not flatten, but where's the tool? So let's go to our loop tools, and we're going to relax these. Do we have a shortcut for that? No, we don't. Okay, so we're just going to relax those, and let's just move that one over like that, and then we're just going to go back to relax. There we go. Okay. So we're going to make this. We're going to make this curve look good in side view, and then we're going to start looking at it in other views as well. So in side view, we want this to be the peak, which is the center point of the car. So it's looking good there. I think it looks like it dips a little bit there, so let's move that one up, and maybe these two go up as a little bit as well, like that. Good. Now let's have a look in top view. We've got a lovely mess, so let's just fix that. There we go, that looks better. And once we're happy with top view, then we can select all of these and we can planarize them. Have a look at what it's done in the side view. So planarize, it's taken away a little bit of curvature here. Not too happy about that, so let's just do a little bit more manual work. So it planarizes around here, which could be a byproduct of it being planar in top view. So if we just grab these, pull them out, and then let's see if we can planarize it again after having added some curvature to here. So that's a little bit better, isn't it? Okay, so what we can do now is rotate that one down, or up rather, and that one down. Let's go to top view, and let's rotate that one and rotate that one back. So I'm only rotating, which means that it's still planar. And then let's bring the rest of the car back in. And then let's grab, which one was it? This one. Let's grab that one and its fellow neighbor, which is that one. Isolate those, and then let's make that a lovely offset from that one. So we're going to work top view first. Make sure that looks good. Oops. So we're looking at a constant movements. So the relationship between the vertices and their neighbors. So these basically are fanning out. So over here we got the direction of these, which is going like this, but as it's moving backwards, it's consistently fanning. So this angle moving, rotating a little bit, rotating, and then until it's moving in this direction at the front. And also at the same time we've got the thickness, which is widest at the front, and then it's tapering in one direction, not to be confused by the pop band by the same name, or Ed Sheeran, as earlier mentioned. So it's becoming narrower towards the rear. And if we look in side view, we have to do the same thing. So we've got, let's make the front the lead. So we don't want to go, oops, we don't want to go any thicker than what it is on the front. So we're just going to adjust those, trying to only move them in Z in side view. There we go. So we've got a constant taper from front to rear. This can go up a little bit as well here. This one can go up too. This one maybe down. Maybe this one down a touch too. Let's have a look in top view again. And it's looking good. It's looking real good. Okay. Now let's do the next ones along. Well, no, actually, let's do those ones because they're sticking out a bit much there, aren't they? So let's grab these and their neighbours, which are the ones we've just worked with. So isolate, So we're going to go again, so we're looking at the angle of these edges here, but also we're looking at the tapering of the shapes. So this one is pretty constant, but it does taper towards the back. And in side view, we don't want any twisting like we have here, so we're just going to move these up so that the inside line, which is this one, is always above the outer line, which, as I said, makes sure that you don't have any twisting. There we go. Okay, and then last one there. Let's bring it back in. Let's bring it back again, and I'm just going to work with these last two. Just bring them both up. So let's go. Let's hide this so we don't get confused. Let's move those up, and for no reason, actually, let's do top view first. So we're just going to adjust those. And the distribution could be a little bit better. So we've got a little bit of bunching right at the front there. As long as it's not causing problems, we might be able to just leave it. But yeah, let's just do side view first, fix that up. And then let's have a look, see if we can fix that minor little bunching at the front. As I say, it's very minor, so it might not even be an issue. Moving these down, let's bring the rest of the car back in. Oops. Okay, let's have a look. So it looks like we've got a funny dip just there, which we will of course have to fix. And we could potentially get rid of this edge loop here, and then slide these back, and that will make things a little bit easier for us. Let's just fix that dip there. Like so. Okay, and that one goes up a little bit as well, like that. And then what we can do at this stage is, if we bring everything back in, select our scalar empty, which is that one. So actually select that one first and disable selection on that. And then we select the scalar, then we select all. Actually no, we select the scalar, move our cursor to selected, select all, move origin to 3D cursor, which is at that point we just made. And now we go to set parent to object. And now what we can do, we can isolate this fender again, and then we can select the scalar in our collection, in the outliner, actually it's not in a collection, it's in a scene collection, but anyway, we can select that scalar. And now if we reduce the Y scale, we can exaggerate the side view, and we can make sure that there are no funnies in our geometry. So it was quite obvious earlier that there was a little bit of a dip there, but with this we can really exaggerate. The geometry, and stuff like that will be much more easier to spot. And then what we're going to do here is we're just going to carry on down the side of the car and just make sure that all the vertices and edges are running nicely. And consistently without any zigzagging like we've got, for example, here. Okay. Oops, undo that. So yeah, we're going to just start with side view. So I'm just sliding these over, and sometimes I'm just going up in in Z or in Y. So yeah, we're looking at direction of travel, but also we are looking at the distribution as well. There we go. Okay, and now this is looking relatively good. So we can look in top view and fix it there as well. So now, because we've done a little bit of work in side view, we don't really want to be messing around in other axes other than X. Just going to make a couple of little adjustments here. This will be the wheel arch. Got a little bit of a sticky outy bit there. There we go. Okay, so that should be the widest point here. We need a nicer flow of the wheel arch, which we do have. Okay. There we go. Okay. Much nicer flow going on there. There we go. Okay, good. And maybe this one a little bit further out so we don't have any concave bits. Like so. And let's have a look at side view again, just quickly. They can go over like that. Okay, good. Right, now let's turn off the scaling. So change that back to 1. Let's see how that's looking. Let's turn on one of the wheels. So we've got 2 wheels, and they look similar. One of them's further out, which I'm guessing is the rear one. So we'll go with the rear wheel. And let's turn on some shading. Let's maximize that and see how we're looking. So that fender is looking great. Okay, that's good. And now we've just got to work with the top. Now, do we want to have any of that glass, or do we just make it body color all the way through? So if we did do the glass I guess would have to do something like that, maybe. Which, do we need that? Do we want that? Let's go with no for now. No for now. And then if we do want it, we'll add it in later. But at this point, if you just excuse me, I'm just going to mute the microphone while I have a sip of water. Excuse me. Right, let's get back into it. So, what's this? What's this bit here? So it's the wheel arch well. Well. If it isn't the wheel arch well. Okay, let's just drag that down. And actually, while we're here, just make sure that it's symmetrical, and we could just get rid of 1/2. Put a mirror modifier on there, make sure clipping is turned on, bring the rest of the car in, and then what we're going to do actually, we'll just keep the glass in a new collection called Spares. And then later on, if we change our minds about introducing a glass, we'll have something to start with. So let's disable rendering, and let's disable rendering on our reference. Let's make reference red. And let's also grab the glass, put that into spares, and let's see what else we got here. Is that a little bit of inside there? Yeah, we can delete that. We can also put this, which is the glass black off, into the reference layer as well. So let's separate that and put that into our spares collection. And then we've got this bit as well, which we can also separate, put that into our spares collection. Then let's separate the bonnet, so select that and these bits and these bits. Not those bits. And let's select these bits. Okay, let's separate that. And then let's separate the tailgate. Actually, let's separate the badge first. It doesn't need to be a part of that. Alright, let's isolate this. And let's see if we can do this quickly. So let's select those bits and those bits and those bits. All of the bits. Alright, let's hide those. And then what we can do here is we can grab this tool, select those, hide those, select all, and then separate those, bring everything back in again, isolate these two bits, and we can delete one half, and we can delete half of the bonnet as well, like this. Then we can select the main part of the bonnet, which is the top. We can tries to quad those. That looks pretty good off the bat. Let's get rid of the rogue triangles there and there. Let's grab these, slide them over, make sure auto merger's on. Let's do the same thing with the back. Select the main part there. Tries to quads. Looking good there. This could be slightly better. So let's see if we can, if nudging this to 1.1, nope, no difference. 1.2, no. Let's go back to 1 and let's just leave it as it is. Okay, we can now, right, so this is rising up, which we don't need at all. So we can get rid of, this bit, and we can also get rid of these bits. So these are going, so that's going pretty straight. So that's, do you know what, let's just get rid of this whole thing here, and these, and these. And then let's merge this with this. Let's mirror this over, make sure clipping is on. And then let's build a surface there, and let's build a couple more surfaces going from there to there. Okay, and let's bring everything else back in. So this bit is going to go, I think we're going to have a little bit of a twist here. Going from, in fact, what are we going to do here? Let's clear custom split normals. Let's bring in a weighted normal on there. I think what we're going to have to do here is this is going to have to twist as it comes down there. Right, what we're going to do quickly is, let's just fix that inner line because it's a bit wonky, I think. So let's grab that. And let's get rid of the flange on there. Let's get rid of this for now. And then let's get rid of this flange. So the flange is this bit. Let's get rid of that. And then let's have a look at this line. Make sure it's a lovely line, a beautiful line, which it's not at the moment. So let's have a look. A little bit of curvature on the front, and it's looking okay from for the back. And then here is kicking in a little bit just there, so let's fix that. Move these out a little bit like so, and we're going to try and planarize that. Undo, redo, undo, redo. Let's have a look at side view. So that's looking okay. So actually, hold on. So this one is kicking in a little bit. So we're just going to grab those and we're going to rotate them like so. Let's have a look in side view. Okay, that's good. And let's get rid of that triangle there. Right, so let's grab that one. Let's separate that edge, and that's what we're going to be working to. Actually, let's rebuild that flange, because actually, hold on, let's keep that. So we're going to use that as our, no we're not. Right, let's grab this edge. Deselect these, and let's go to the front, deselect these. Let's build our flange back in, like so. Have a top view, that's looking good. And so that one there is going to go to there. And that back one, we just build another square there like this. So now this will be our guide. So let's separate that, but let's nudge it down a little bit and down a little bit further. So we want it to be roughly there that we're working to. So let's, okay, so the front is quite far off. So let's nudge that further inboard a little bit. So let's work to that edge. All right, let's isolate the bonnet, and let's try to quads that again, and then let's get rid of any additional vertices that we don't need. So let's select all, merge by distance, let's clear custom split normals, and then let's go back to what we were doing, which was, so we're going to simplify some of this geometry. So we're going to do a little bit of reduction. So we're going to just merge these. Okay, good. And now let's get rid of the flange. So we're just going to work with this edge, getting it close to the fender. Return to fender. Okay, let's move those out. There we go, like that. And in side view, we need to bring it up. So what we're going to do to start with, we'll just move the outer edge, and then we'll work the rest as we go along. So it looks like we need to be a little bit above there. And then we'll go back to same height as we get to the center. And then let's get rid of that flange as well, and then let's merge these two, and then and let's line this edge up with our fender in side view first, of course, like that. And then in top view, we can, okay, so that's the edge. What we can do here is we can just select So we've got an edge there which washes out. Actually, hold on, let's have a look at the reference. What is going on with this? So we've got this edge here which washes out into nothing there. So we're going to do, we need a similar treatment. So this edge here washes out into nothing somewhere here. So let's see, let's just nudge those over. Can we do any reductions here? I think we can potentially nudge this one over and then merge those. And we can certainly get rid of that one, I think. Slide that over. That will go down to there. And let's see, so that's going to go down into there and then merge in there. So let's see, let's make this a nice offset to the outer line. Let's get rid of this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have this line here go around the corner and then washes out into nothing, but it has to go into nothing over here instead, like that. So actually what we're going to do here is we're going to just do a little bit of temporary reduction there. And so we need this edge to continue there like that. So we've got a nice constant offset from the edge there. Slide these over like that. Slide these over. Slide that one back up. So this one will be a constant, 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 constant. And then as it goes towards the front there, it can taper out a little bit. Like so. There we go. Okay, so that's looking good in top view. And if we just grab these and these and isolate those, we can make sure that that line runs nicely in side view as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the inner line doesn't twist relative to this outer line. So I'm just pulling these out, only going in Z here, and actually it's going to taper towards the back, isn't it? So we've got to make sure that this is always at least parallel from side view, and then as it reaches midpoint, which is there, is going to start to move up and then go into this. So what we could do is if we grab that one and that one down a touch, we can just make a cut like that. So we've got a guide, and then we can follow that guide and make sure that we've got a nice constant taper in side view based on a straight line. So we know that these have always got to be rising relative to that cut line that we just made. There we go. Okay, and then we've got to just move those in Z, and then we're going to just slide this new cut over to it. There we go, and then we can just grab these, slide them over, move this one up. There we go. So we've got tapering towards the rear. In side view, make sure there's no S's, there's no funnies, there's no zigzags. There we go. And then let's have a look in top. There we go. And then slide that one over. So it's looking like it's tapering towards the front. It gets narrower here and it tapers again. So we don't want that. So we're just going to grab those and we're just going to shear those there. So the widest point is at the back. Let's bring everything else back in. And let's see how we're looking. So we've got a little crease feature there, which I think we want the widest point to be here, and then maybe it will just go back here like this, which it does. We can, let's have a look. Let's add an edge loop there. Let's move that back like that. So we've got a nice bowing here from front to rear. Then this one, there we go, and let's cut from there. Let's aim it sort of towards there, and then let's slide these over so we've got a nice bowing again in this direction as it is on the back. So go back a touch further, grab these like so. Okay, grab those, just get rid of this triangle and slide that one. Oops, got a rogue vertex there. Okay, good. Let's attach that to there. And let's have a look just in front view. We've got a little bit of what can be described as the flame surfaces with this nice big concave bit there, mate, which looks good. So that looks alright. Let's add a little cut just in there, and then let's cut there to there. Let's attach that to there, and let's continue to the rear. And actually what we're going to do, we're going to just get rid of that one for now as well. And then just in side view, make sure we've got a nice constant line just there. And actually in back view, this looks like it could go down. And what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to exaggerate that line a little bit. So let's grab our scaler. Let's scale it in X this time. And I'm just going to grab these two, and in side view, I'm going to move them along this edge here, roughly. And then I'm going to grab the next two, and I'll slide those along that edge as well, and then the next two. There we go, and then maybe this one just a touch. So just to exaggerate that little ducktail there a little bit. There we go, that looks good. Looks good to me. And then let's see what's going on here. So we've got a little bit of highlight issues going on there, probably due to the fact that we've got these triangles and some twisting. But don't you worry, they will be fixed. Grab those over like that. It's just fixing that line a little bit. Side view, let's undo the scaling. Let's change that back to 1. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's add a subdivision modifier to that, which will help anyway. But we would like to make a little reduction here because there's quite a lot of geometry in this corner, which I don't think we need. So let's see, we want You want a corner one there which leads this curve down. So let's get rid of this one. And the next one along as well. And then slide those back up like that. And let's see how that looks. That looks good. Okay. And now what we can do is we can add an edge loop there, make a square there, like so. And let's make a n-gon there. And let's just sit back a little bit and let's see what we need to do here. So you've got a crease that goes there, that washes out into nothing there. And we've got these, well, we've got an n-gon there, and we've got this funny square there. So we could potentially, let's see, we could use this triangle as a place to wash out this crease. So yeah, let's try that for starters. So let's go from here to here to here to here, there, like that. Let's go to here, and then here we're going to be washing that out, and that looks like a bad idea, but we're going to carry on anyway and see how it looks. I'm just going to attach those, get rid of these triangles there, and let's slide those over. So we really would like another edge there, another edge shearing there, unless we get rid of, oh yeah, we can get rid of this edge here, I think. Let's get rid of this edge shearing here. Let's slide those over, and those, and let's get rid of that one, slide that one over. So that's helped us to get rid of that edge shearing, but does that help? So this does not look good, and this does not look good. But with subdivision modifier on, it doesn't look that bad either. So let's see. I don't like what we're doing, what's going on here either. So let's see if we slide those over. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to slide these back. We're going to add an edge loop there. We're going to slide that one back up like that. And we're going to slide that one over. So we've created a triangle just here. However, if we slide these over like so, oops, and then slide these ones back, move those down. Do we need these? Let's have a look. So the issue is here, my dear. So I'm just moving the problem along a little bit like so. I wonder if we can just move those along, move those down. Let's bring the rest of the car in, see how we're looking down here. Let's shade it up. Let's bring in some wheels. Okay, So shaded up, it hides all our sins, which is nice, but it is a sin. Actually, doesn't look too bad there. And I think actually at this point I'm gonna go and have some breakfast and step away from this, and then hopefully when I return it'll become more obvious to me how to fix this in a way, well, actually, because it doesn't look too bad. I think all I need to do, yeah, I think we're almost there. It's not a million miles off. Let's have a look at the vertices. So we don't like these edges here. It would be nice if we didn't do this. This here. So actually, hold on. If we move these over like this, let's distribute these evenly. Oops, not those. These evenly. Let's distribute these evenly, and these, and these, and these. Then let's grab these, pull them out. Pull these out a little bit too. And what we could do, I wonder if we could so it goes a little bit flat there, doesn't it? Actually, if we do our world famous scaling technique, we will see that we've got this bit rising, so it goes down, rises, and goes back down again, which I wonder if that's causing problems as well. So I'm going to just move these down so they're always going down as it goes towards the front, like so. And then let's grab these. Let's grab these, and then move these down as well. Actually, I think that's going to help as well, because we always want the peak to be in the center. So moving these down has shifted the weight forward a little bit, which is good. Let's grab these, move those down a little bit, move these down a little bit as well. So I think we're getting somewhere here. But as I said, it's often, well, it's not often, it's always a good idea to take a break and then come back, and then everything will all of a sudden make sense, and you'll be wondering why on earth you did certain things, because when you return they will no longer make sense. Not that they're making sense at the moment, but they're not making sense either. I wonder, do I want to move? So we want a little ducktail there, but we want this to be bowing, because at the moment it's kind of looks like it's peaking around here, and then we've got a really lazy bend just in here, and then it almost goes up again here. So I think what we're going to do is we use our world famous scaling technique. Let's maximize that. What we want to do here is move those up, move these up, move these up, and then move these up a lot. There we go. And then let's maybe slide these back Yeah, that's it. That's the one. That's the one. That is the one. Yeah. So we've got a nice curvature there, peaking around here somewhere. It goes down a little bit and then shoots up again. So let's accentuate that a little bit more by dropping these. Drop it just there like that. And let's turn off our scaling, world famous scaling technique. And actually, let's quickly mirror the wheels over as well, just so we get a, just so it's balanced across the car. So if we isolate this and the center, let's grab that, let's put a mirror modifier on that. Let's make this the object that it mirrors around. Now let's select all. Let's copy the modifier. Let's put the wheel front into the spares collection. Let's bring everything else back in. Let's shade it up, turn perspective on, let's turn off overlays, maximize that. And actually, I think that's looking pretty good. We just need to fix the gap there, which is looking massive. So we just got to fix that gap, fix the floating aerial. And I think we're almost there. I do wonder if I want to make this crease a little bit sharper, but that's detail which will come in later. But otherwise, I think I'll just give myself a pat on the back and say this is a great start. And I'll also say thank you very much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure as always. And my apologies for the quiet, low tone. It is because it's early Sunday morning and I'm trying not to wake up everyone in the house and or the neighbours or provoke the dogs. And yeah, that's it really. I'm going to stop talking now. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you again sometime in the near future. Thank you very much.